Hi everyone, I'm Sandra, mom. As you can see, Ben is not with me. Today I thought I would share the last couple weeks. Recently, sadly, Ben relapsed. At first I thought it was a glitch. Then he seemed to be full-blown addiction. And today I'm not sure where he's at. I just wanted to share some of the tools I use to deal with the relapse. Now, when Ben relapses, and anybody that's in active use, I'm sure they could relate to similar things. He becomes very aggressive verbally. All he wants is money. What I say is the addiction monster takes over, and that's not my son. And that is part of how I dealt with the last few days with Ben. He was very verbally abusive. I didn't take it personally. I saw that it wasn't Ben speaking, it was the addiction monster. This is how I relate it so that I could take care of myself. Last night was really bad, and I was concerned what he was going to do. Some of the tools that I used is, first of all, the serenity prayer. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Well, I'm blessed that I have the wisdom to know the difference, because I know I cannot control Ben. So that takes a little bit of weight off of me. When he is being verbally abusive, I don't engage and I hang up. Another thing that I remember during this time is the 3 C's. I didn't cause it, I can't control it, and I can't cure it. I remind myself that this is Ben's journey, and although I'm on this journey with him, I don't need to engage, and I don't need to be in that vortex with him. I could stand from the outside and watch. Another thing, when he is being insulting and aggressive, I don't take it personally, and the analogy I use, I become an umbrella. I let it roll right off of me. I am not a sponge. I don't take it in, because I know every minute, every day is different, whether he's using or not using. And I'm really glad that I dealt with it the way I did, because this morning I spoke to him, and he wasn't that aggressive. He wasn't asking for money. And another thing I don't do is ask him questions. I don't ask him, what did you use? Tell me that you used, because it doesn't matter. All that does is trigger him to get more angry, because he's not going to tell the truth. He's not going to say, yeah, I used blah, blah, blah. That's just not the way it works. That is from my experience in past patterns that I've seen with Ben. It doesn't matter what he used. I could pretty much tell whether it's an upper like crack or meth or a downer like Fent or heroin, just because of the behavior. So I deal with the behavior. It doesn't matter to me whether he used or not. It's the behavior that matters to me. It's not that I don't care whether he used or not. I do care, and addiction sucks, and I don't like it. But I have recognized what I do and do not have control over. And I am not going to trigger him so that he can go off the deep end, even worse than what he was. Another thing I did is I reached out to a friend who is part of the support groups I go to. She totally gets it, and I was driving home, and I had just gotten another call from Ben, and I knew that I just needed to talk about it, talk through the tools I'm using, and just to have someone listen and understand was really helpful. And I'm sharing this because I know there are thousands and thousands of people going through the exact same thing that I'm going through. And I just want to share what works for me, what keeps my sanity. And part of keeping my sanity is using the tools that I have. I'm just looking at my notes to see if I missed anything, but I just wanted to share those are the things I do when Ben is in relapse and when I'm dealing with the addiction monster, when I'm not dealing with Ben, my son. And I'm really glad I did that, because like I said earlier this morning, it was much better. I picked him up to take him to the clinic. I did that for me because I wanted to see him. And I'm really glad that I did. I mean, he came in the car, and if you watched my last video on listening, I'll post it below. I use that tool. when he got in the car, I didn't even ask how he is. I just let him get in the car. I let him start the conversations. I didn't ask him one question. I listened. He might have asked me a question. I answered it because I knew that if I started to ask questions like, how are you feeling today? Even like, how are you feeling or how you're doing could have been a trigger. And personally, I don't have the energy to engage in that. And even when I was only listening, he would talk and start sharing something, and he would basically have an argument with himself. I never interrupted. I just let him talk. And then if he asked me a question, I answered it. And it went a lot smoother than if I would have asked him, so how are you? How are you feeling today? Boy, it was really tough yesterday, wasn't it? And start bringing that back. I didn't have the energy to engage. So it was a fairly easy day, considering everything that's happened in the last week. And when I was driving him back to his place, he kept saying, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go home and I don't know what to do. He wasn't asking me a question. I didn't answer that question. In the past, I might have given him suggestions, and sometimes I still do, depending on where I think he is. And today wasn't the day to make any suggestions, so I just listened. And I, didn't say, well, you could do this, this, and this. I just listened. And just listening, using my tools, has got me into this place where I'm still enjoying life. I'm still doing what I need to do for myself. Is it easy? No, it's not easy, because it really sucks seeing your son or your daughter or your sister, brother suffer. That just totally sucks. But I'm okay, because I know this is where he's at. This is his journey. I can't control it. I can only control what I choose to do. And I choose to live my best life. I choose to be there with a healthy mental health so that I could help Ben when he is ready for change. And who knows, maybe it was a glitch. Maybe he won't use again. I know he, referred to, I know you're not going to give me any money. I didn't comment because he's right. I wasn't going to give him money, and I didn't have to confirm it. And he didn't ask for money. That doesn't mean he's not going to call me later and say, can you just blah, blah. I'll just have to say no. And that's the way it is, because I don't want to keep him in his addiction. I don't want to give him that $5 so he can get his next hit. So time will tell. So when we say 1 day at a time, 1 hour at a time, 1 minute at a time, that is truly the way I live my life. And in this moment, all is good. I'm living my best life. I have plans for the evening, and I'm just going to keep rocking my world. So I hope you find this helpful, and remember, and this is what also gets me through it, where there is breath, there is hope. Take care, everybody. Have a great week. And happy Thanksgiving. I just wanted to say happy Thanksgiving. I am so very grateful to have all of you following us, and all your comments and your support. I feel truly, truly blessed. Thank you. Take care, everybody. Where there is breath, there is hope. Cheers.